Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my top 3 favorite products in every category. Julia Adams came up with this video and I've seen a bunch of creators do it since then. I will link Julia's channel and her video down below for you guys to check out. She's a fellow Canadian. I love the video idea and wanted to jump on the trend of sharing my top 3 products in every category. So be sure to check out Julia. And if you want to know my 3 favorites for every single category of makeup, then just keep watching. As always, for these types of videos, I like to wear my favorites on my face. So this is full of my top favorite makeup products. So I obviously love this sort of makeup and I hope you guys do too. So we're gonna go through the categories that Julia had on her video, and I might add a couple just because I do use different ones, and I also might take away a couple categories because I don't really have favorites in those categories. So sticking true to my favorites, we're going to start with primer. I don't know anyone who has the same favorite primers as me. And these I love for specific reasons, and I'm going to tell you why these are the best of the best. These I need to have in my routine. Like, I'm a firm believer in primers after I discovered, especially the top 2. These are my go-to, and also not ever talked about. So the first one I have is from Osmosis, and they make skincare and they also make some beauty products. They're more known for their skincare, I find, but my favorite is this skincare makeup hybrid, which is this luminous treatment primer and highlighter. So you can use this as a highlight, you can use this as a primer. I mainly use this as a treatment primer because it has the most beautiful glow to it. I'm wearing it today and I have a matte foundation on top, but I feel like my skin always has this most beautiful glow from within with this, even with a perfecting matte foundation full coverage on top. Like, this really does still make your skin glow, and it's worth it to put underneath because sometimes I find some products don't glow enough and it's useless underneath a matte foundation. But that is the color of it. It's this beautiful champagne gold. Did a heavy swatch there, but it definitely does blend out. And that is the glow it gives the skin. Absolutely stunning. You can use it as a pinpoint highlight if you like that, which I think is stunning too. Like, this can work for a highlight for me too, in terms of a liquid, because I don't have any liquid highlights in my favorites, but I could multi-use my primer. So that's why I really love that one. It just works for me. And if you have a pore issue like I do, hopefully you can't see them as bad in this video, but I do often have trouble pores, especially in this area, the sides of my nose, really deep pores, and then just generally my T-zone. I discovered this primer. It is the Perricone MD No Makeup Instant Blur. You could wear this on its own just to smooth out your skin, and it looks naturally blurred. No pigment or anything to it. It's just a clear balm. And this is sort of similar to the Tatcha Silk Canvas, the e.l.f. Putty Primer, all those kinds of pore primers, but this is more thin, more smooth. Can't get any better than that. So you only need a tiny bit of this product, which is great. It's gonna last you a long time, especially if you only need it in pinpoint areas. But this is by far my favorite pore product out there for primer. And if you've not tried this for your pores, what are you doing? I've talked about this so many times. You need to check this out. Like, it's amazing for pores and you need it. It gives you that soft blur to the skin and literally makes a difference. Like, you can see in my videos when I apply this, a noticeable difference on the skin. Coming in third place, we have the NYX Marshmallow Primer. This is new to my primer favorites, and this is great just as an all-over smoothing primer. So I don't find this good for pores, just general smoothness on the skin. You can definitely notice a difference with this. Makes your skin velvety, soft. It really does make your makeup glide on better. It's a great one from the drugstore, though I feel like it's on the pricier side for drugstore, but definitely one I recommend. Foundation is probably one of the hardest, but also easiest categories for me to pick my favorites, because I do have my top favorites, but I have so many foundations I love and could definitely expand this because I have different types of foundations, coverages, even tinted moisturizers, which I classify in this, which I use for certain occasions. But these, if I had to pick 3, are my absolute favorite top 3 most used foundations. Currently on my face, I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way matte foundation. I have the shade Golden, which is honestly the best match I've ever found in a foundation, is Golden from Too Faced. Like, it perfectly matches my body. Face and body, like, it's the perfect match for me. And oftentimes some foundations are just slightly off. They could either be too warm for me or the neutral pulls orange on me, which is the main issues that I have with foundations. But this is the perfect skin tone for me when I have a tan. So Golden, absolutely perfect match. I've never found a better match than that, so that's why I absolutely love it. Plus it lasts forever, and I feel like my skin looks really nice and perfected with it. And it's not too matte, so don't let it fool you. I don't find it overly matte. This next one is a little bit more matte, but not a dry matte. This is a really nice perfecting buildable foundation, and I recently used this in my Ariana Grande makeup tutorial, and you can see how beautiful and smooth it looks. I think I also used it with that primer combo, so it's a really great combo if you want something long wear and just perfecting. This is the Urban Decay Stay Naked Weightless Liquid Foundation, up to 24-hour wear. You can tell that there's a theme. I need something long wearing, locked on my skin, something that is matte but not dry. Something that blurs my skin, super lightweight, buildable. You can build it up to more full coverage, but you can get a nice medium. So that's my favorite sort of foundation. Something nice and buildable. Has all those qualities to it, but looks like skin still while providing you that coverage. Nothing cakey. And then this one is probably the most skin-like on my skin, has a good wear, blends effortlessly, and it's from the drugstore, which is awesome. So this is the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Foundation, and this isn't regular True Match. This is the updated formula with hyaluronic acid, because I still get questions about that. It's not regular True Match repackaged. It's the one with hyaluronic acid you want to get. Regular True Match is great. The one with the skincare benefits is better. Definitely check this one out if you're looking for a good drugstore foundation. It's my top pick. One that I use all the time. Like, this is a great daily wear foundation for me because I do feel like it has those skincare benefits. My skin stays nice and hydrated when I use it. Looks flawless, undetectable on the skin, feels lightweight, looks like skin, but it just makes my skin look better, which is what I want from a foundation. So those are my top 3. Highly recommend. You'd be happy with any of those. I would seriously be happy with any one of these 3 foundations. This video is going to be forever long, so if you have not made yourself comfortable yet, go do that now, pause the video, and come back because you're going to be here for a while. Just trust me on that. So the next category is concealer. I'm going to try not to talk forever about all these things. They're my favorites for a reason, so I'm going to try and keep myself more brief and stop going on because I could talk about my favorite products forever and what I love about them because they're my favorites for a reason, so I go on and on. The number 1 concealer I'd probably recommend to the most people just because of the value of it, the coverage, the consistency, just your overall great concealer. And this is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. Huge package. Initially when this came out I thought it was foundation just because of how big it is. Absolutely love this concealer. I use the shade Almond, and it gives a nice brightening effect underneath the eyes. Today I'm wearing a darker one in the Too Faced underneath my eyes, which I will list down below in case you're curious, but I mostly used Almond on a regular, and it gives me good coverage, and it's also not drying. Top favorite concealer of all time, which I have officially decided is my favorite, is the one from KKW Beauty, which was actually kind of surprising to me. I love this when it first came out, but after trying it next to a bunch of my favorite concealers, I realized it was my favorite because it does provide me with that coverage. It's hydrating. It just illuminates my under eyes, wears beautifully. That's all I really need is something that has a little bit of brightening. It doesn't even need to have that much coverage because mostly I just need a little bit of lift underneath my eyes, and that does that for me. Wears beautifully, perfect colors. I go between 5, 6, and 8. I really range in those, but they really have a good brightening undertone for me. My last favorite concealer is actually a recent one to my collection, and it's from Fenty Beauty, and I have had really hard luck with Fenty Beauty complexion. If you've been following my channel, we've been on a roller coaster ride. Some things work, some things don't. A lot don't, and I have reactions to, but this one is one that works fantastically for me and actually squeezed its way into my top 3 for concealers. So this is the Fenty Beauty Bright Fix Eye Brightener, and I have the shade Deep Butter 07, which is a nice yellow brightening shade. This does have light coverage, so if you're looking for something more full coverage, I'd recommend the other concealers, Too Faced being the one with the most coverage followed by KKW Beauty. This has very light coverage, but it's all I need on a daily basis is a nice light coverage for brightening. I don't like the packaging of this because so much comes out. Like I tried to give a small swatch to you guys and like I could cover my whole face with that amount of product. So that's the only little issue I have with this product, not the formula. It's just the packaging. It's super hydrating, gives that brightening quality to the skin. You need very little product. And it's one of these concealers that even though it has light coverage, I still need the least amount of it to get the most effect from the concealer because it has that perfect brightening quality for me that corrects my under eye and just gives me enough coverage that I need. I don't need too much. I need mostly just a brightness. It's literally a perfect formula for a daily basis for me. Some of you might be surprised by this. Some of you probably won't be if you recently watched my drugstore favorites video. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Face Powder. I use the shade 2, which is medium, and I use it mostly to brighten my eyes. I recently received tan in the mail, which I've used for all over my face. And I have to say, I honestly like my next powder better for that, which actually shocked me. But this is great if you want something really smooth and creamy underneath your eyes. It's the perfect powder with just enough coverage to give a little bit of brightening in that shade. And then for my favorite powder probably of all time, which I have on my face today, definitely doesn't look like powder. My skin's still shining through, sets my face beautifully, perfects everything. It's from the drugstore. It is absolutely amazing. It is the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Powder. This is the exact same kind of texture and consistency as the Charlotte Tilbury for a fraction of the cost, and it bumps up the coverage, which I personally really like. So I have 2 shades here. I have 220 Natural Beige and 312 Golden. Golden I have underneath my eyes and to set my face today, but more often than not I'm using Natural Beige. But these 2 powders I could not live without, and I like it for both underneath the eye and for all over the face, which often I have individual powders for both those different things, but that's an all-over go-to powder, the #1 product I would pick up if I lost all my powders. The last powder I have, also drugstore, super cheap, $6, $7. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. Great for baking underneath the eye if you like to bake, or just all over setting. If you prefer a loose powder, this I would definitely recommend. I would personally go for the Superstay because I don't often bake too much. The Superstay is just more creamy and hydrating. This is good though for areas I want to bake if I really want it locked, and just generally if I need a baking powder. This is what I reach for, and it's from the drugstore. It has a really smooth finish and you just look flawless with this. Bunch of different shades. I kind of range in this from 10 to 25 depending. 10 is fair light, has a really nice beautiful yellow undertone though, and this is great for brightening if you're looking for one that's really nice and yellow. Next category is my favorite, bronzer. And this was really hard for me to decide, but based off my personal use, these are the things that I currently am grabbing for all the time. These are my top. So the first one, actually I'm gonna go for both creams, which are 2 actually cream products, and I kind of use them as a bronzer contour sort of situation. The first one being the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer, and this is in the shade Teddy. I have hit pan on this and trying to use it up for my Project Pan video, which I will be filming an update soon, and I love the tone of this. I'm wearing this today. It is perfection for when I have a tan, and I just love the consistency, how it blends, and it just never looks patchy, especially when I put powder on top. Sometimes powder can grab to some of the creams. Looks flawless, looks super even. And then the next one, if I want more of a contour versus a bronze like the other cream, is the Tantour in Fair. And yes, I do use fair even when I have a tan. I do find these run very dark. I can still use light myself. If you're unsure, just get the lightest option, honestly, if you're similar to me, because this one works for me. And this has more of that cool kind of undertone when I want more of a contoured effect to the face. This is even better of a formula, in my opinion, than the Fenty one. It's even more easy to blend out, super thin, and just effortless to work with. So I love that. And then for my favorite powder bronzer, I don't know if it's because I've been trying to use this up for Project Pan, but I've really truly fallen in love with this bronzer again. And this is the MAC Give Me Sun bronzer. And I was never on the Give Me Sun hype train when it was initially going. My love for this developed much, much later. I did use it when it was really popular, but I never loved it so much because I thought it was a little too warm for my skin. But now I feel like it's the perfect shade for me because I am liking more of a warm tone to the skin. I'm leaning less towards the other sort of bronzers I used to use. I love that it's the mineralized skin finish formula because you can see it just plays so nicely on the face. Seamless blend. You just need a little bit, blends out beautifully, and just overall is super easy to work with, user-friendly formula that I can't screw up because I can screw up my bronzer. I've had my days, but this one I'm less likely to. Then when I was pulling highlight for my top 3 highlight category, I realized I like all the same tone and formula. Like literally these all look the exact same. So I definitely have a preference for highlight. The one that I'm wearing on my cheeks lately today is the Natasha Denona I Need a Glow. And this is a hard pressed gelée type formula, which is my personal preference. These look the most skin-like in my opinion. They don't accentuate texture, they melt in, and they just become one with the skin. I don't like powder type formulas for highlight as much because it can sit on my skin. This type of formula just works for me every time. So this is my first one, but all of these are pretty much tied because they're like the exact same formula. This is recent to my collection, but almost identical to the Natasha Denona I Need a Glow if you like that. This is the Nabla Cosmetics highlighter in Ozone. Again, that hard-pressed gelée formula, which just looks like skin on the cheeks. And what I like about these is that, yes, you can get that beaming highlight with them, but you don't have to because they can be applied very lightly to the skin. You don't have to go crazy with them, and it just is a beautiful formula to work with. Super user-friendly, as I said, plus you can get kind of a light or intense application with them depending on your preferences. And then this is one of my most reached for highlights. It's the Dior highlighter palette, the first one. I obviously use these 2 shades a ton. I'm seeing the pan get hit in that gold shade, but these are beautiful, especially for inner corner highlights too. I like to reach for these when I work on my eyes, which is a fun little fact about Dior Backstage collection. I really like those for my eyes too, which you'll see coming up. So this is another go-to highlighter of mine. All 3 of those very similar though if you're looking for a beautiful champagne gold type of highlight. Now for blush, this category was really hard for me just because I do have my favorite powders, but I also have my favorite creams, so I had to just limit it down to my top 3 when I see the use for both powder and cream. But there are only 3 here, and they all happen to be cream, minus 1, which is a dual compact, which you'll see. But I really gravitate towards creams for blush, and the one I'm wearing today, which is my favorite sort of color to wear, I think it's the most flattering on me, is the Tower 28 Beach Please Cream Blush in Power Hour. Looks like this. It's that beautiful kind of rosy tone. I love that for the skin to give it that kind of sun-kissed. My natural kind of flush would be this. This is the closest to how I look naturally flushed, is this sort of color. That's why I think I really like it, because it is really natural on me. Formula plays beautifully. You can wear this over powder, under powder, which always has to be for cream for me. I don't want something finicky or hard to use. All these are impeccable formulas, easy to use. You can use them on top of a set face, no problem. The next one is from Patrick Ta. It's the Cream Blush Duo in She's So LA, which is that bronzy tone, which I reach for often as well. So I don't like too much color on my cheeks typically. I like something that really looks natural on my skin. And this is more brown. You can see this has more of that rosy tone, but kind of similar, but this is definitely more rosy, more natural for me. And this is just if I really don't want any color, I want that monochromatic look, just kind of a bronzy type of look to the skin. And I really like the powder topper on here, but the star of the show is the cream, I feel like, in this. I use it all the time, and I really like the consistency and formula of the blush duos from Patrick Ta. I have a bunch of those, also the Tower 28 ones, bunch of those. And then my last and final pick, which actually took the place of my Charlotte Tilbury powder blush, is a liquid blush. It's the Glowgasm Beauty Light Wand, the High Blush, and this is in Pinkgasm. This is absolutely stunning on the cheek. Again, another one that I recently fell in love with, but this gives a glow to the skin without having to apply any sort of highlight. It just looks so fresh and youthful. I love how this looks. It just beams healthy looking skin to me. So that's why I really like it. And this gives me that kind of pink color that I personally like, that I think is really natural. You can't really overdo it with this blush, which I like. You could apply a ton to your cheeks and it's still gonna look natural, which key word here. Even though I'm wearing a lot of eye makeup, I do like everything to look pretty seamless. So those are my top 3 for blush. And it was a really hard decision for me to pick these. But if I had to pick 3, these are it. Then for mascara, these are my current top 3 that I've been reaching for all the time. My number 1 is the Maybelline The Falsies Lash Lift Mascara. This is the Ultra Noir one, but really any of the Maybelline Falsies Lash Lift will do for me. It has that hourglass shaped brush, which really cups and lifts my lashes. It's the perfect kind of brush for me. Perfect formula, it doesn't do any of the smudging, flaking, clumping, smearing. All those bad things, none of these mascaras do for me, so that's why I've picked them as my top 3. And then the next one is my Lancome Monsieur Big. I believe this is the extreme version. I have to double check. I'm pretty sure it is. I couldn't see on the bottom. I love Lancome Monsieur Big. Again, I wasn't there for the hype of this initially. I was kind of late for this as well, but it has a really big natural bristle brush. It's really good at volume for me. Like if I want super voluminous lashes, I'd reach for this. It just really gives that false lash effect. It makes me feel like I don't need falsies for filming when I use this. It's really pretty. And then my last one, I recently started loving as well. And I picked this up when I was getting your drugstore recommendations and I fell in love with it. So thank you so much for your drugstore recommendations. This is the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Mascara, and this is the waterproof version. I love the packaging of it because it has this kind of rubbery feel to it, which gives a good grip when you're holding onto the brush. So this is what I've been using for the warmer season. This is the mascara I've been reaching for lately on the daily because it is waterproof. I wear this to the pool and I'm completely fine. I should honestly do my pool ready makeup, which looks skin-like, natural, but you could get splashed with a face of water and you'd still hold up. This is what I wear for those days. So I absolutely love that for a waterproof mascara. And I imagine it would be just as good, not a waterproof, but I picked up the waterproof one because this is a really affordable mascara and I know I only use waterproof in the summer, so I wanted something really affordable. Next we have eyeshadow palettes. Another thing that was honestly really hard for me to do, but as soon as I found my 3, I'm like, you know what, I'm locked for this. This is really good for my 3 favorite currently. One of them is older and not actually an eyeshadow palette, and 2 of them are fairly new, which are really special, I think, and definitely worth it. So the first one I wanted to talk about is the Hindash palette, the Beautopsy palette. This is special to me. It is for makeup artists, it's for makeup lovers, for people who want to create whatever they want. This inspires me. This has a beautiful, soft, buildable formula you can use on your eyes. You can also use this on your face. So it's one of those palettes that really just speaks to the makeup lover in me and was easily a top 3 for me. The next one is fairly new, like almost brand new. I've used this a total of 3 times now, but I knew as soon as I was playing around with this that this had to be in my top 3 because it is special. This is a special palette. It's hard to do something unique, but I feel like Patrick Ta did it with this release. This is his new palette, his first eyeshadow launch. I'm wearing it on my eyes today. I love how neutral it is. It's just the perfect tones for me. This is just such a beautiful palette. I think bridal, I think everyday, I think pops of glitter. You could do one and done with this particular formula, which I know Julia Adams had a category for that. I'm totally skipping that category because for me, one and done is like a bronzer in the crease. But this, I would grab one of these shades. Like this, you could use a crease shade or a lid shade. This would be the perfect one and done, in my opinion, would be this palette. It also comes with these 2 creams, which is really unique. I thought I wouldn't use them that much, but honestly, they're the star of this palette for me because I can't really use liquid liner with lashes lately. I still use it on occasion. But I also find that liner on me smudges really bad, go on my brow bone when I close my eyes. Like, I just have a lot of transfer issues with liner as well as irritation from it. So I love that he included creams in this palette because I can use these to do a smoky wing, which you guys know I love. So I often just use shadow, but this makes smoky wings even more easy and effortless. And that's why I love this palette. It's honestly perfect for me and just my makeup issues that I've been having. I absolutely love this, and it was easily in my top 3 too. And then my next one is honestly my most used, not even an eyeshadow palette, but I do use this for contour too. This is a go-to top 10 favorite product of mine. And this is the Dior Backstage Contour Face Palette. I use this on my eyes. Used it for years on my eyes, and recently I did the tutorial for my Ariana Grande makeup and I forgot how much I loved using this on my eyes. So this is a top palette, great everyday whip something in the crease sort of thing. You can kind of deepen it up with a couple of the shades and it just works for me. It's nice and neutral to cool. I just think it plays nicely with my skin tone. The colors are effortless. Since they are face powders, they are nice and light and buildable, which is perfect for the eyes too. I love that kind of formulation. And just my easy everyday grab and go sort of palette. So I had to mention that here in case you're looking for contour or an easy everyday eyeshadow look. That Dior palette is it for me. I'm going to be talking about brows as well for a category. And the first thing I wanted to mention is the brow gel. And if I had to pick, I would honestly pick my Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter over my Got To Be Glued. I know, I only have this to save me money, but this comes with the brush in it and it's just easier to use, honestly. So if money wasn't an issue, I would just pick this up for the rest of my life, but I'm trying to save some money and not go through like $36 a month or how much this is for brow gel because it's way too pricey. If you want an affordable brow gel, get the Got To Be. If money's not an issue or you want to try this out, get the Benefit one, because this does just as good a job at gluing down my hairs. I'm wearing it today and it's just less messy and it comes with the brush. So you don't need to get spoolies to use that product. So this would be my number one, and brow gel is very important to control my hairs. And then to fill in my brows, my second place is my NYX Lift and Snatch. This replaced my third place, which is my Urban Decay Brow Blade. I love both of these. I love that this has the dual end, and I think that would totally make this one even better if they did that. But I just use the NYX brow pencil and this. Even cheaper getting those two than buying the Urban Decay one. And I like this pen because it is a nice precise, even more precise than the Urban Decay, and the shade is just better. So this is black, but it doesn't pull red on me. So I really like that, and it's not too black because I'm always fearful of having my hairs just look like black lines on my face. I don't know. I'm wearing the black shade today and it's a perfect match for me. Moving on to lips, we have lip pencil, lipstick, and lip gloss. And this was easy for me to do for my most used right now. These are honestly categories that switch up often for me, but right now, this very moment, if I had to pick my top 3, these are it for me. But as I said, these are more categories that are easily to change than some of the other ones that you may have seen. So first of all, we have lip pencil. These are my most used lip pencils, 2 of which are MAC and 1 is from Morphe. I have the Morphe Sweet Tea here, which I really like for a nice rosy brown shade. Looks like this. I wear these all very often, and I love the Morphe formula because it is a pencil, sharpening pencil formula, but it's super creamy, but not too creamy where it bleeds. And then the MAC formulas are a little bit stiffer. You can get more of a precise line. And my favorite shades are Cork, which I'm wearing today, and Spice, which clearly is my favorite pencil ever. Like, I wear Spice on its own. I'll wear Spice to line any sort of lip product. It gives it that warmth and the color I like. It's just such a pretty color to me. So we have Sweet Tea, Cork, and Spice right there. Perfect shades for me. Then for lipstick, this is my top 3 at the moment. My most used. This shade is honestly a little bit surprising for me. This is the KKW Beauty Pink one, and I picked this up because of Stephanie, my friend Stephanie. She always wears pink colors, and she recommended trying the creams from KKW because I didn't like the mattes. but I really like this shade. It's a really nice, bright bubblegum pink. I actually have that on today with MAC Cork and a lip gloss I'm going to mention. So it's really nice. I can kind of tone it down, but I love that it has that brightness underneath to give me that kind of dimension I'm looking for. And then I also really love my Too Faced Melted Matte Liquefied Matte Longwear Lipstick in Child Star. This is a great daily wear for me. I like this because it's super light, but I can manipulate the color to be a little bit darker and just really give me a nice fullness to my lips. This is also very long wearing on my lips. It can be drying too, but you can see the kind of tone that I've been going for lately. And normally I really like something beige, but I've been leaning more pink as of lately. But as I said, this often changes for me. So right now I'm on my pink vibes, but it does change. So I also love this NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in London. I recently ran out of one of these. It's so good. This is a great everyday. I don't even need a lip liner for this one. Just swipe it on and go. Super comfortable. It's a lip cream, so it's not a liquid lipstick. It keeps that softness, that velvetyness, and that moisture to your lips, and it's just a beautiful everyday color. Perfect color for when I have a tan. Works with any of my lip pencils. Like, you could make any kind of combo with these ones I'm mentioning, and it's my go-to lip. So these are the things that I'm always just switching out to make my go-to lip, which is something like this. And then for gloss, a lot of days I've just been wearing this color on its own. And this is one of my favorite formulas out there. It's from Tower 28, and it is the Shine On Lip Jellies, and this is in the shade Coconut, which initially when I got these, I didn't think this would be my favorite shade. But again, I'm loving pinks right now. Like, I've been loving pinks for several months now, so that's why it's my favorite. I just love a pink shade. So this is a great, just everyday sort of color. Like, I love how juicy these make the lips. And then for a treatment plumping gloss, and I was talking about these with my friend Stephanie, and we were both saying how much we love this formula. Like, it is top. I think it's top for her too. I'm pretty sure this is her either number 1 or 2, but this is definitely in my top 3. So these are the Lawless Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Line Smoothing Glosses. These are thick glosses, and they recently came out with ones with pigment, which I love. So I was only able to get my hands on one of the colored shades, and this is in the shade Daisy Pink. This is just a beautiful baby doll pink color that can bring the lightness and the life back to my lips. If I go a little too dark, I like to put that on my lips. And I really like these because it gives that shine. I notice for me personally, because I do have lines in my lips, that it does do a good job at plumping them up and giving them that super juicy, full look. I'm actually almost done this clear one. I don't know if you can see that. Just like a couple uses left. Like, I love this gloss. So I'm so happy that they came out with colors, because I'm definitely using those more. I still want to pick up the other shades they have, but they were sold out on Sephora, so definitely check these glosses out. This is a clear gloss. Mine looks a little bit dirty because literally it's almost done, and I've been using it to mix now that it's at the end. I don't care if it gets a little bit mucky inside. And then my last and final lip gloss, which I'm wearing right now, which I am in love with this color and this formula. This formula, the smell, oh my gosh, this is probably my number 1 gloss, and it's from Pat McGrath Labs. This is the shade Flush 6. I don't like these packagings anymore. I'm glad I got these to try it out, but I definitely want to pick up the full size because it's so hard to like dig in here and get the product out. But this is the shade Flush 6, which is my perfect sort of nude, like darker nude for me, but definitely like my summer nude. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just, I love this rosy kind of brown shade. Find it super flattering. You guys are going to notice that I'm really into rosy browns. That's kind of my vibe right now. That's what I'm loving. And that's it for lips. And then we have one more category, which I wanted to mention, my top 3 favorite setting sprays, because you only need one. I just finished this today. This is my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. The best setting spray out there, the only setting spray you ever need. I love this stuff. It truly locks your makeup down, but also gives a veil of softness to your skin. I feel like this like airbrushes your skin too, which doesn't happen with sprays. So it's saying airbrush flawless is true. I really think it does some kind of veil type quality to the skin, really smooth stuff out, and it's just my perfect #1 setting spray. You don't even need any others. So that is everything. I think that's everything. Let me just double check. That is officially everything for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my top 3 favorite products for every category. I absolutely loved going through my collection and truly picking out what I believe to be the best of the best. These are things that just work for me, my preferred makeup preferences. So if you like similar things to me, check out my top 3. These are my go-to. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not checked out Julia Adams, I'll leave her links down below as I said earlier. Definitely go check her out because she started this video and she has an amazing channel. Also a fellow Canadian, if you did not know. So please check her out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not subscribed already, I would love for you to join the family by hitting the red button, the bell if you want to be notified of all my future videos. And I'll see you guys in my next one.